Hi, this is an in-depth video of how to improve your handstand hold and balance it for longer. So in the short form format, we talked about the three things: techniques to fight overbalance, falling over, techniques to fight underbalance and bringing back to the center, as well as just practicing a lot and hopefully making your practice fun enough so that you want to do it. Now, before we start, I just want to say that you can forget about all of the underbalance, overbalance techniques and just practice so much that you feel it and your body knows what to do. That is a valid way of training. However, that way takes a long time, and a lot of time you get inconsistent. So sometimes you can balance 30 seconds, sometimes you forget, your body doesn't remember, you balance only 10 seconds, and it's very variable. However, if you understand the techniques, and you don't even have to understand all of them, but the more you understand the techniques and how to use them with your body and combine it with practice, then the better you will become at handstands. Okay, let's get started. So fighting over balance, we're going to use it on this wall. We're using a very small space, and that is because a lot of my clients will tell me, I don't have enough space, I have furniture. And if you're worried about falling on furniture, then you shouldn't be watching this video. You should be watching the intro and how to bail so that you're very precise with your movement. If you're ready to do this video, then you shouldn't care because you're very precise. I'm going to do it here where we have the fan, we have the paintings, we have the piano, and it'll be fine. Okay, I said we're going to start with overbalance, but let's start with underbalance because it's a little bit harder, and this way those of you who are not ready for this video will drop off and go to the more beginner version after getting slightly discouraged. Okay, so when we're in underbalance means we're gonna fall under unless we do something about it. So to freeze ourselves in this moment in time, we can use a wall, because when you're holding on to a wall, you're a little bit in that moment of time where you're about to fall under unless you can do something about it, and we'll practice doing something about it. A lot of people control balance with their legs. That's not a very efficient way to do it. However, I do think that you should learn it so you know what it's like. We can do that by counterweighting our body with that extra top leg until we're very light on the wall. You don't need to get off the wall. Very light, control that. And then if you feel it's very easy, you can get off the wall. And now you've learned a little bit kind of how to balance with your legs. So this is the first technique. Now, the next technique, and a lot of the circus people prefer that a little bit over the shoulder technique, is to, instead of moving your leg to counterweight, we're going to move our hip to counterweight. Now, because we're changing our shape, our legs will naturally slide down the wall, but I'm more so thinking about moving my hip, and that's how I'm achieving the balance. So we're going to go again on that wall. We're going to get into our straight position, and now we're going to focus on moving our hip. So not our shoulder, our hip. So I'm focusing on moving my hip. My hip is going top of my hands, more, more. And now I'm balancing, and now I can straighten from there if I want, but I'm still very mindful of my hip. And if I want to bail, very precise. Okay, now can you guess the third technique? Shoulders. So we're gonna go up on the wall again, and now we're gonna slide our shoulders. Okay, had to restart the camera. I'm trying to get you guys a 4K video so we can crop and zoom in and all of that. So let's cover the shoulders. So for this one, your hands gotta be a bit closer to the wall to not it be too intense, because we don't want to go into like a big planche. And if you're just trying to understand the technique, you can do it with your wrists a bit like this. However, eventually when you're saving a handstand, if you look at, I'll play a video from that same reel, you do planche and you do it this way, unless you're saving it with your hip, which you also can do. So I'm gonna climb up. I'm going to bring my hands closer. I'm going to keep my hands straight because I'm kind of practicing the normal handstand. I'm going to keep my hip locked. So I'm not going to do this. They are locked. They always need to be locked for this. Otherwise, you're not doing this. Then from here, we're going to slide with the shoulders, shoulders, shoulders until the feet float. Now from there, you can practice holding it, or you can practice lifting back up into the handstand. And as a bonus, you can practice coming back down. Amazing. Again, if we bail, precise bail. Okay, you gotta be at this point by now. Cool. Next, final thing, I cannot demo on the wall because it's the wrist version. And this is very, very delicate. So if you're balancing a handstand, if you don't catch that adjustment so soon, then you either have to do the shoulders or the hips because we don't have much room. So that's like, imagine it's easy to push ourselves back, but can we push ourselves forward with the fingers? Not so much, right? So whenever I'm falling in underbalance, if you catch it too soon, imagine you're at 90 degrees and you're falling like this. If you catch it too soon, you can raise your fingers and fall back into it. So it's very, very delicate, but I need you to know about it. And next time you're on the wall, actually we'll do an exercise now, you can feel it. So let's do it now. Get up on the wall or watch this and then put yourself in a semi-balanced position. So you can do the leg, you can do the hip, you can do a combination of both. And from there, try to lift your knuckles a bit to kind of bring you back to the wall. Alternatively, I guess you could feel that in crow. It's much easier. So go into crow and feel you're pushing down, then you catch it. You're pushing down, then you catch it. So you can kind of see my knuckles lift a bit for this one. Okay, but in handstands, it's going to be because your elbow isn't bent, your range is going to be even smaller. Cool. Now, back to wall. So in these back to wall drills, how I recommend you do them first is not try to balance. So just try to dismount the wall. And then later you can try to balance. Now, I know from coaching that if I say that and then go and demo balance because I feel like, oh, as a coach, I need to show that, people will rush it. So I'm not even going to demo the balance, okay? We're just going to demo the dismount. And you can see my Instagram for other videos, or maybe we'll see. So if I kick up, hopefully my leg is going to be in the center, so I'm not going to hit the painting and thing, but we'll see. So we're going to get up and awesome. Now, I'm on the wall, everything straight. I want to weigh myself down with the leg, weigh myself down with the leg, weigh myself down. Oh, I'm automatically lifting off the wall and I dismount. So that's how you balance with your leg. Now, how does the hip work? We said that naturally your feet will slide down, but because we're the other way around, the pike will turn into a hip extension. So like a back bend, some people call it banana, some people call it scorpion. I like it a lot. A lot of people demonize it. So you're up there, you move your hip, you move your hip, you move your hip, you move your hip, boom. You move your hip, oh, I'm falling. Okay? So a lot of times if you're falling over and you catch it, you can go into a little bit of banana and you save yourself and you come back. That's a very valid technique. You can do it with your hips and also you could do it in your shoulders. And it's considered more like a classical technique if you do it with the shoulders. So we'll show how that works. So I learned that this is easier to show on camera if I do this, but then students actually do this. You don't need to do this. I just do it sometimes because it's easier to show on camera. We're going to move from opposite of planche, moving our shoulders, moving our shoulders, moving our shoulders, moving our shoulders until we get off the wall. Awesome. The extreme version of this is like a Mexican handstand or a hollow back. Cool. Final thing is the hands. And then we'd have covered all of the techniques and we'll move on into even more important part, which is how to gamify, how to program your practice in a fun way so that you actually end up doing it. Okay, so the hands is easy. It's just like you're doing this. but you can do it here. And we can try it up there. Now, look, we're kind of doing this and getting ourselves up with the foot. If you're too far from the wall and you try to do it, nothing happens because your center of mass is way off. This can only save you if your center of mass is still within your hand. If it's beyond your hand, boom, it lifts. It won't realistically lift, you will fall, but you get the idea, or cartwheel out. So we're going to go a bit close to the wall. If you just realize that you're a bit too far from the wall and it's not working, you can counterbalance a bit, then freeze, then do it. But I'm at a good distance, so I'm just going to press with the fingers, press, press, and it takes me off the wall. So everything that has the ability to take you off of the wall when you're in a paused overbalance has the ability to save the overbalance when you're freestanding. Awesome. Now let's cover how to structure your program. Okay, so how to structure your program is super simple. There's many ways, but one of my favorite ways is take your maximum balance. So if you're a very beginner, it would be your maximum. You go on the wall, you align yourself, you balance, that's your maximum. Or you kick up in the middle of the room if you're more intermediate. Say your maximum balance is 10 seconds. You multiply it by 2, so that's 20 seconds. Say your maximum balance is 20 seconds, then that's 40. You take that new number and you give yourself a goal within today or tomorrow if you start this to accumulate that number. Now, how will you know? You gotta film yourself for this, and I'll show my phone in a bit. I have this phone holder, helps me hold the phone like this, but also allows me to put it as a stand so I can film myself. So you film yourself doing an attempt off of the wall, stomach to wall and back to wall. So each time you do a stomach to wall or you do a back to wall or whatever technique you're working on, and you count in your video, oh, I got off the wall on second 10, I fell on second 15, that's 5. So you keep doing this throughout the day until by the end of the day, you've accumulated your 2x max, which is 40 or 20 seconds, depending what your max was. Okay? So the first day, it might take you 10 sets to do this, spread out throughout the day. It might take you, obviously, you do your warm-up before the first one, but you can just do a light one before the others. Second day, it'll also take you 6 sets. Day after, it might take 7 sets. Day after, it might take 5. Then it might take 4. Then it might take 5 again. But suddenly, and I've seen this happen with many variations, with many people with many variations, because if you do it for normal handstand, then you're going to have to do it for Mexican handstand. Then you're going to have to do it for block handstand. Then you're going to have to do it for parallel bar handstand. So a lot of times, it's many sets, and then suddenly 2 sets, 1 set, suddenly it becomes a piece of cake. Now, if you're doing more than 10 sets and it's not working, then your max was not your honest max. So go and test your max again, because it should be less than 10 sets to accumulate 2x max. Okay? Hopefully this makes sense. Let me know, and thank you so much for watching.